All right, well, you may be wondering, what the heck have we been doing other than working on the sawmill and fixing stuff? This doesn't look like much. It's probably a 16-inch diameter poplar log, but we had this big wind recently, well, it's a few months ago, and that's one of them that we dragged out. Here's a second one. He's not quite out yet to the mill yet. This is a bigger one. This is a little bit bigger. And then we've got the fourth one up here. Inky, say hi. Hi, Dad. Got this one. He's not quite as straight. He's not too bad, though. He's got a little bit of S to it. And we've got this guy over here. So this is 4 logs. They're all 17 foot long. I haven't dragged them out yet to the sawmill because we've got a bunch of stuff to cut up already. We don't need them there. Additionally, it's been wet. The ground isn't too soft, but it's wet and it's slippery. So I'll show you where these bad boys came from. Hike up here. Uh-oh, Inky, there's a frog. Leave it alone, Inky, don't eat it, that. Come on. So what happened here is this double poplar, this is a stump tree. See how 2 trees came out of one? Well, God didn't put 2 seeds that close together. 60 years ago, or 50 years ago, they cut them down. It was a nice big tree. Hilariously, once I bucked them, the stump stood back up. And now I've got a pine. I'm not going to touch the pine, but there's still some more wood here. These are 15-inch, 16-inch diameter. They're not real big, but I've got some more to this tree, these trees. It's probably worth taking. So that's one spot. Let's show you the next couple. We'll move on to the next ones. We'll get back to the Kubota and crack on and show you what else we got. This guy now, 7 years old, he works great. This thing's shut up. It's 39 degrees outside, so I'm risking my hand and limb, or life and limb, to do this, to show you guys these. So I hope you enjoy it. Probably can't hear anything with the noise of the machine, but that's the way it goes too. Inky, stop picking on your sister. Coco, stop picking on your sister. So you can see we're coming up to a bunch of trees that are down. There's 3 poplars we pulled out, and if you look past them, there's a whole bunch more where somebody played dominoes, and it looks like they took down 8 or 9 trees. The somebody was God. So we're coming up on an old creek bed here, which filled in with sediment, which is pretty good for us because I can get across it now where I didn't think I could. So it's much steeper than it looks actually, but it's solid, which is awesome. So you just saw those 3 logs we passed up there. And so Phil and I bucked these trees a couple weeks ago, and here's number 4. And just to give you an idea of it, these are not, they're 17 foot long. This is reasonably good sized wood here. This is my foot. So these are 24-inch diameters. There, you can probably see that better. They're good sized logs. Okay, so we got 5 of these. And what happened, and this is kind of interesting. So there's some forensic science here, which I think needs to go on. I believe this tree here came down first. When this tree came down, it took down this tree. When this tree came down, it was dominoes. And I've never seen anything quite like it. So we've still got a bunch more logs to get out of here, but it's soupy out here. Not soupy, it's a little bit wet. So I'm a little bit reluctant to start dragging them out with a tractor. So you've seen the 5 big logs we've got. You've seen the 4 other logs. We've got this one here, he's a 16-inch diameter, nice piece of poplar. We bucked that one there, and there's another nice straight piece there at least. Down below here, we've got this guy here we haven't even touched. That's the root of him. And he's not a poplar, so I think he's an oak, the whitish colored one. God bless, I gotta look at him a little more carefully because he's a keeper too. And there's the rest of this poplar. So we have more logs here than we know what to do with. And what happened, this was like dominoes. I'm glad I wasn't in the woods when this happened. We had 60 or 80 mile an hour winds. And one came down, took another down. And look at this here. Now this top of that one, we're not gonna be able to get that. And I'm not gonna touch these guys here. Those are kind of screwed up, but there's plenty up here. And if you look at down here, hang on. If you look at down here, that's a beautiful tree. He's getting a little bit tricky to get out of because it's down this embankment down here. But I think we can buck him pretty well. And when it dries out, I can pull him out. Yeah, so I think what we'll do is we'll buck him there and there, and then see what we can pull out. What I would love to have is a bigger winch. And then they pushed, and these, look at all this mess. All these guys came down and pushed down these guys up there. And there's 3 or 4 of them up there. So it's crazy. And it just gives you an idea of the picture. Look at the dogs there running around. So we've got more logs than I know what to do with right now. So we're a little bit picky. Nice poplar. And 2 years ago, I couldn't find enough poplar. So that's a story. That's what we've been doing in addition to fixing the Frick. We finally got some nice boards today. Got boards for Charlie's hay wagon, and now we're moving on. So let me just show you, this is a good picture, because what we did is this split a little bit, give you a little bit of an idea of the size of this guy. He's not huge, but he's, if I can do this without breaking my ass, my foot. There you go. He's a couple foot diameter tree. It's not a bad tree. Yep, according to my world, he's okay. So, and these guys here, it's interesting the color in them. And again, people think these are old trees. These are not old trees. This entire property was harvested in the 70s. And before that, in the Civil War, so they were 110-year-olds then. They were big trees, and it was harvested in the 1700s. So there we're at. That's where we're at. Let's crack on and finish giving the dogs their ride. So the other part of this is cool is we weren't quite sure how to get these out, but it turns out, this is pretty fascinating for me, is this tree fell down here and plugged up this little creekway, and now it's full of sediment. You can't see it very well from this camera, but it creates a beautiful path, a little bit steep to get us out of here, but it's perfect. All right, let's roll forward, and this should be amusing. You can see these logs that we pulled out right up there. There you go. So when we put these bridges up now that you see here, they're all built with steel I-beams so they can carry the weight of the tractor.
which has loaded tires, a weight, and a front end loader on it. But they'll easily carry 5 tons each, and the Kubota only weighs a couple thousand pounds. And you'll see a lot of trees that are down here. This area has some nice oak in it. You'll see some of that are marked, some that we cut down for firewood. But there's a lot of softwood. It's called basswood, as far as I can tell. Guys that carve duck decoys love it, but we don't really care for it a whole lot. But for the duck decoy community and carving community, it's nice. But there's a lot of the basswood which falls down, and you'll see us coming up to a whole bunch of it. And there's a bunch of smaller poplars. Further on, we see a bunch of white oaks and stuff like that, but they're not very mature. So if something falls down, we'll grab it. Otherwise, it stays where it is. So these 2 trees on the left with the yellow markers, they're dead poplars, but they're probably going to stay there until they fall down. They're just not big enough for us to waste my time taking them out of the woods. So you'll notice some of the property markers and no trespassing signs. Several years ago, Paul and I spent a lot of time with a metal detector, transit, and some plats to find the property markers. We pretty much found every one of them. We learned what IPF is, iron pipe found, and that's what we put in the plats. Hilariously, after we put markers in the ground and stakes and stuff like that, the neighbors came up and put no trespassing signs for us facing in their direction on our property markers. Are you serious? So if you stayed with me this long, what we're coming up upon is the back end of the domino game. Look at these trees on the left. These are the last of the trees which came down from the ones probably 400 feet away from us. And you can see where they are. Look in the video, right across the video, across the creek, those poplar trees down there. It's a long ways away. And that's, I stopped there to get a better look at it. You can look carefully, you'll see some of the trees that we bucked up there too. So this was a lot of wood on the ground, but it's all good. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Hit subscribe, thumbs up, leave me a comment. And you guys have a great day. And Merry Christmas.